Ken Mame sha sem free story ba kwa ye. Benjamin Sesko in Semino. No cre up to date. Manchester United for a slow neoma. Between Manchester and Newcastle. Team are waiting me the bid. Akoma Leipzig Newcastle bobukono. Manchester United bobukono enfa bid enkoye. Manchester any pro transfer akasa. Manchester any Benjamin Sesko akasa. Omu nyina no omo twen say Manchester United the official bid ebeko. Manchester communicate ache Leipzig for ne say omu nya abotre kakra mfa omo Manchester United. Na afi na Manchester for omo gada omo first official bid. Na omo prepare bid no e dia bre Leipzig mpanyimfo. Na omo hwe nkrata mu. Enti Leipzig for enya abotre emfa Manchester United. So communication a free Manchester United e call Leipzig kon ye say munya abotre kakra man na afi ne ye boaboa ye nkrata no. Any documents ano any proposal ni e dia bre na matimi atwem. So Manchester amfa bid enkoy. The only club between Manchester and Newcastle the official bid akoma Leipzig no Newcastle. Eno mpokra no Leipzig for say omu nso. Newcastle for bid no de coin na 75 million euros. Ana add-ons near 5 na akwakoye 80 million euros. Leipzig for says kanusa. No mo beji any offer mpokra na. Ombeji 80 million euros a fixed amount. Na 5 million no aye add-ons na akwakoye 85 million euros. Ano mo akwakoje. Eno ana Newcastle for no ehun second. Benjamin Sesko no oye bad boy. Opese oslu omo Newcastle for no down. No match Manchester for bid no.
Na United the
United for the Oma catch Leipzig for so munya abotre kakra mo ma fe no mo de eboabo mo ne oma no de aba.
Okay.
Enti Newcastle for no ama Benjamin Sesko ni pro transfer 24 hours. So mo fa decision in Brabonte.
Kope mo chira.
Yes. Because Oma woni say Oma catch Newcastle for so munya abotre. Ana Newcastle for nenya hint say Benjamin Sesko ne pese munya abotre na omo twa delay omo kakra twa Manchester for de no mo de be kono. Because they say Manchester for ni ready to bid the same amount as Newcastle for the koye. Enti Newcastle for na catch pro transfer for no. Ana Benjamin Sesko say omo 24 hours. Omo obi anti ase say ope Manchester onka so ope Manchester. So ope Newcastle no onka no njai se munya abotre mo ntwen kakra munya abotre no. No mo nya nkra sa emreko. Enti mama Newcastle ama Benjamin Sesko 24 hours. So funny decision embra. Okay. Manchester for so patcho e wo Leipzig say yesre ma munya abotre kakra ma enti ye twend ye ba akosie. Leipzig kona no omo so atonkra koma Chelsea for say mabasem ope Xavi Simons. Emna ne so ko. Se ye beton Xavi Simons amamo a yeso so ye behia replacement. Enti Chelsea for mo nka mo ho na mo mfa musika mbra because yeso so any Liverpool for kasa. Ah ye kwa kofa Harvey Elliott. Abaye Xavi Simons replacement. Enti se omo Leipzig for no betimenya Harvey Elliott every Liverpool. No ababa abaye Xavi Simons a replacement a. Aje se Chelsea for aba betu omusika for Xavi Simons. No match says kan mu bi. E de akoma Liverpool akwa Harvey Elliott. Enti Chelsea for mo nka mo ho. Na mo njai go slow na mo yen because Liverpool for so my pressure.
Na ma Chelsea twentwen Simons de no so
on pese bo ne ba form kakra.
Okay.
Enti omo so ato Chelsea for nkra. Sa omo pe omo ni Liverpool akoka Harvey Elliott wonkomo. Liverpool twen agiska. Ana omo so twen age
omo de Chelsea sika no. Ene akofa Harvey Elliott.
Ababa ye replacement.
Enti omo so nyanko ya Harvey Elliott wonkomo.
Aha, so akwa ye problem o. Na unse so humi di okọ. We free obe free space bo boku nim. Na Daniel Levy a communicate a che papa friend say Thomas Frank say obema no a good replacement. Na unse already Rodrigo dey wa communicate a che Real Madrid for so obetena. Brazil Real Madrid for a player Rodrigo. Wa communicate a che Real Madrid for say obetena. Na Daniel Levy a promise Thomas Frank say Enfa hu se Rodrigo se obetena Real Madrid boboku ni no. Ono abe lead sa negotiation e lead deal no. Se son you mean e kwa e wo se omunya a player ni mu eduo oye proven player omode ne ba spare supporters na ni beje enti ono Daniel Levy na nkasa e de sine na so akwa Real Madrid Florentino Perez se ope eye Rodrigo ono ana obeye son humi replacement a ma promise Rodrigo Mpokra £180,000 a week. £180,000 a week. And Daniel Levy see on lead negotiation for Rodrigo no be some human replacement. Now on say Liverpool
say Oko on be star boy.
Na just say star boy ni dia ba be yo no
wa be kudu se free.
Wa be kudu se free. Say Rodrigo dey baby o no o soro say kudu se.
Yeah.
On say Saturday na ye ka say Hilal for the official bid akwa koma Liverpool for Darwin Nunez. Liverpool the one person turn Darwin Nunez because of Isak. Say Isak be beninti no. See my friend say Hilal di omo bid dey call 70 million euros dey call ye no. On say AC Milan for so any Liverpool for din come for Darwin Nunez. AC Milan for so di omo ho agim. Na menim vime kra AC Milan. Mo amu niska so mo players ane boy dey. Enti AC Milan for so dey Liverpool twetwe nkomo. Na keno nim say two teams no be no ha wetimi ne Darwin Nunez akasa. Agreed deal. Darwin Nunez deal no yes say e Liverpool na team tene ne omo kasa. Boy na nkasa obi an ni agree. AC ni agree. Hilal ni omo agree. By Hilal for na your imagine say Liverpool for je omo bid ni etuma ansa na omo ne Darwin Nunez ene ni representatives akwa akohia. AC Milan for so person ne Liverpool wie ansa na omo ne Darwin Nunez akohia. By assistance now AC Milan, Hilal, Obienu are with me agree with Darwin Nunez. The only team on the Darwin Nunez I agree, was Napoli. By Napoli, so went to Liverpool for Henry. Now Isak Dieno. And now no pay Isak Eddie 3 hours ewo Newcastle. Omu training ground so. Odi 3 hours. Meno Okase ni legal team. Ana ne representatives ewo England. Riley as o communicate ni legal team. Ababa bedru omu free Sweden ababa bedru ne representatives ababa bedru meeting ne bekoso se still na no Newcastle for ntiase ho ana transfer request ne bebom enti transfer request e ba ni nyina no e ka ho bi normal ne legal team no ne lawyers no ababa piem e wo England enti ye twen de meeting ne ba kosi on se Liverpool for say omu ogidie say e kire so pass a latest by 14th August die e wo so omu nsa e ka e ya brand e friend say e ye Isak. Na Thomas Partey die ne say obi anim say Partey ene Villareal die ne die okwa sign to 2027 wakoye ne medical team na Villareal for coach Marcelino Garcia Tora and pushy for the deal. Marcelino ekache Villareal mpanyifo say on say new season on bebo UEFA Champions League opese onya quality and experience players e won finfin ho already or Dani Parejo or Denis Suarez or Papi Gay enti osenya Partey eka ho a ono Marcelino Garcia Tora na ebeboa no na ken unim DSC section of Villareal for supporters protest arehosem ana ye nua Thomas Partey FM na section of Villareal for supporters ne say enam 5 rape and sexual assault ayede abo Thomas Partey no section of Villareal for fans ne say omo ntiase enti protest ne ekoso. So say o ye Villareal supporter na ompene Thomas Partey die no so a omama baby a odu protest ne beko fans mailbox no akoka wa adwen di akwa mpanyifo no the reason why you say Thomas Partey join Villareal bobuku no enti anu bi ne yade atu
fans mailbox ne
fans mailbox enti
na omokotwotwo nsemu no
say no what say the reason why you say Partey join Villareal team no
but when they catch say Sunday mo we mentiase ade na ye charge obi a na ye wie ni say case na ade ana say
ye bua ne
fo e di ntia
ahun say omo ni say e ye bad
charge no o charge no afa no oba be court
sure
okọ court a ye be kokodi asem no but asem no ye nya ni ye kura no
untimi conclude
but obo so no mo ina
conclude sana akwa areho sempa eba
enti we ya Villareal for na asase omoye other clubs no every single ground should be a party be ko Spain bia obehuru no
even Villareal for na nkasa
na mo amode ne ba no kra no ma start we ya other clubs no ba bia obeko bia
obehuru no enti a serious protest na ekoso of Villareal no ha adwen
but sadia ne de ense ya ha adwen wo we asisi say asem sini nya charge wa na eno ano
na ye clear din ni mpokra se umpokra no se de ye de tools na nya sa na tia still no kra na din na se Benjamin
bad
nti Villareal ko ken enti supporters ne say protest na ekoso ye nua Thomas Partey after say yes so akoye na medicals no na on say Real Madrid center back Rudiger ne contract be 2026 we di 32 years na Madrid for air pen a long term replacement now the player is say Real Madrid for asa edi nkomo Oscar na say opon Oscar na say opon yes
na say na person o replace Rudiger or Madrid
or a long term replacement for Antonio Rudiger Oscar na say opon
na say no
osi akan wo Granada on say Accra Norte obo Emmanuel City Football Academy wa Accra and the copy mu Spain Real Madrid for who is Accra we or just 20 years but he 6'1" and the ball no be a very combative to say Rudiger into mu ni say Oscar na say opon a long term replacement ama Juni Calafat any best of you agency twetwem komo enti they say the Oscar na say opon the eba no na PSG ni Juventus ni Kolo Muani de no ken PSG for say no ombeji loan ni kura atuma ebeye loan na obligation to buy no Juventus abi to 50 million euros and na Juventus for say Kolo Muani de ne bo no wosoro enti anka loan fee no ombetua 10 to 50 million euros na obligation to buy no akwa 30 million euros Brentford abera Arsenal so mo Petrozad Brentford abera Arsenal say omo Petrozad na no Saturday and am de betu anim say Trossard ne Martinelli transfer committee wo Arsenal on person mo ton baako ama Teta de waka say Trossard nie Martinelli nie baako ntina ono coach ne pe Martinelli Brentford for abera say omo Petrozad Bayern for say Kim Min-jae teams na ba say omo pe no by the salary ni teams ne ba na omoko oje 12 million euros a year teams ne se ni sika no e wosoro na Bayern for hu say Upamecano PSG for na tata no omo center back Upamecano Bayern for ni si PSG for na tata omo enti Bayern for decide say Upamecano omo be ma ne contract extension to 2030 Upamecano contract e 2026 Bayern for ni say omo be ma Upamecano contract to 2030 na Barcelona Hansi Flick a communicate ya Gerard Martin say obetna
and am I impressed by
yes Gerard Martin
or cross the ball better
and easy okay omuni Inter
and no be na no
ye coach na communicate ya Gerard Martin so obetna on say na Barcelona epe Alex Grimaldo every Leverkusen enti o maka chen say Gerard Martin ebetna na Ademola Lookman de no waka Inter for ne side Ademola Lookman under roof agency so say year ago Atlanta for ne promise say Otnana team be the 35 to 40 million euros ba on budget.
You want to kanokre.
You hu the kanokre. Enti dia akwa akosie no. Na Manchester United for decided so beton Mason Mount. Yes Ruben Amorim and the 9 so. Say Abrante ne friend say Mason Mount no onimbo ne ankasa ebo. Na me di wie no kra no ma hu say omre ne ko. Ronald Araujo. O say Barcelona fans no. Watete ye beton me. And they say ba say chire ho no e Pau Kubas ni Indigo Martinez no Ronald Araujo no afi we ayasim no season we afi na Barca for be who the best version of Ronald Araujo
you say between Kubas and Indigo how do betu no
say the Kubas ni Araujo Indigo Martinez na first pair
because say one no betimi atu omo mi no one betimi yin afrim
say the na say yakwa to say Indigo Martinez so form na no edi
I say Inigo no dey is a center back on there.
On is so number 1. If you say oyire no na Pau Kubasi bi. But say season we o kase Nyankopon ani monyam. Inshallah. Ono Ronald Araujo. Aye, Ronald Araujo. You be the best version.
Okay. Ederson.
Kemi na say na asam ne de. Kwame Degu no boy ni nti na we nya fem e kasa. Degu de
Degu for me say na yi the born in Musa player na ya ade na Degu for na
South Korea league no omo 12 teams the worry or that for Degu for
e was South Korea omo so na was South Korea
omo about 24 games so we win 3 omo about draw 5 oh yes but I'm just giving out information say
information
omo about 24 games when we need 3 about draw 5 and then kind nyina 16 losses omo lose bet 12 games. Oh, bet 12 games. No more winning game.
They go for.
Obiasha wo. Na unim. They go for na the ten say. Degu community no omo governor there. Inti omo ska. Mba chonti ase omo ska e no mato nsa de afresenka. Team e ya de o South Korea nke ye mfre omo. Omo na awe e wo omo lake. nti
omo na ba sa show mo 5 no
ai
team awawe wo Korea
no bet 12 games win game tese wotu obi a show wotu sa but that is not the point. The point is that Barcelona for ehwe kwan obafa so abo mo bo throughout the 90 minutes ko for 9 ka ball 2 pair Barca penalty box no oh no man be nti but I say a drew game be say a training game and until na first half for side the entire team I mean just nyema wo dey train me say Gerard Martin na waman abas center back but Alejandro Balde na waye invented kakra no aba be share midfield a normal game and coach no on try sir and the coach no try nema bebre and ma sa Gerard Martin e overlap from the center back wo e koye sa cross no that boy onimrika tuo te say Alejandro Balde ontimi mbo sa left back na enkane na hodi aba mo boni bi onye sa na emom ni attributes a onim ye ne se na 90 mi ball into a cross here a ye pa but say osia good winger pa when we obe ha no onye sa type of natural fullback no be kwa ba debi onye sa but the attribute onim ye no onim ye pa say ye cross ball ani de onim ye
I just say the ball no be for Lewandowski
well in terms of
Rafinha so run a cobos no
say you know Sebasa Asia team be dominate pa no a Gerard Martin can play, but difficult games there it might be serious there. You don't want to try him. But see one thing now, throughout the games of Mabo so far, about Vessel Kobe or Shomo 3-1, or Soul or Shomo 7-3, and then they watch 5 into like 15 goals, and watch and we concede 4
in 3 matches.
In 3 games, 15. And we concede 4. But the 4 no crowd we concede, you know, and then one concede goal that is positive. Name one thing now you clearly observe about this Barcelona team. The second, say in terms of tight spaces, none of the Barcelona players in the name tight spaces control it to say Dani Olmo. Ken Dani Olmo ni die Olmo ni pa 3-4 ejina ni nchanya. The way this guy takes the ball and get the ball into space for the player for first one befano, it's beautiful. Anyway, they good yenye kasatin team bia but yebere against Komoni ahwe de betimi akọ. Ken remember transfers anymore na let's also divert kakrani enhwe clubs no empempi some de om third jerseys eba third jerseys no a chamfoni actually baby a club ni free na normally om introduce jerseys na they want to educate us on a lot of things but empempi no yeah adwen ko na bi so aye nim na enemy that someone's Arsenal for release omu jersey e de aba na de bia me catch us say club bia woni nchi any baby omu free. The last time I was telling you, so Manchester United Lancaster and Yorkshire for omo railway department and a nipa no and adwen say yankoti boku and echire be Manchester United the same way I was telling you the last time say Manchester City na ya sorry St Mark church St Mark church say yanti asori na fei nipa no mu bia won Manchester wa mu di semi no yemfa football entro momba asori mu no and ne adani aba Manchester City I to say Tottenham Hotspur na nkwada school children bia no more St John's Grammar School and in name what say Tottenham Hotspur Arsenal Football Club. Give me the jersey and let me tell you something again. Take me back to bare 139 years ago. Ken yanko na fe ma me nko bonko mo kakra na afi yantwe nyina adwen ikosi ade so kakra. This is 139 years ago. 1886. Osha screens no so a nipa na omonwan machines ahodo Samra no na akon ewo wiase Arsenal. Denti Arsenal ba ye nani jersey me be kire ade kakra wo. England anase UK kro no wonyina no baby a omo kwa akon a omo ye omo tuo eye omo machines awodo e de kwa akon no eho no eye baby a na Arsenal asifri na eho ye Royal Arsenal eho nie na me de aba ewo wo hwe wo screens no. So this is 1886 ewiase atwam ko inti nipa no a eyesa etuo machines ye niam UK for the kwa akono eyesa nkofo na department ba ko ye fe na Dial Square Workshop and na boys ni bi se nie sa dia ye bob ye adwuma ni wi a ye tete wa ye nya hwe. Let's form a football club. and no Royal. In fact, initially, na departments na to so Dow Square Workshop Football Club. And then in any name na Royal Arsenal say sa company nankasa no. And the UK kwa again. This is why Arsenal are called the Gunners. I'll come back to these things because and the UK now the last time I was telling you say nipa no soldiers for no now mukodi akono mo sanso ba omo ye nkokora na ye de omo kɔ baby a Chelsea went na Chelsea from pensioners no inti was Arsenal for no eye etuatu ni Chelsea for no soldiers for no kwa akomba no makɔ inti na Chelsea for former pensioners e were links kakra but the Arsenal one no for company name for picture of the company mam na for yen hwade department no moti Arsenal lanka sanka free ni e friend Dow Square department today and ne kra na one picture ni nie we 1886 na fa enne de ne mame into one thing clearly you will see from the picture clock no na enne Arsenal for unveiling of the jersey no fa no mame so na menchero ade again omo unveiling using the clock into when we say clock that we feel say normal picture it is not. Arsenal are going back and telling you say now we are taking this jersey back to where we belong to. Two, the hybrid conversation. Ken, the last time I make catch you say Arsenal Lanka so move in North London no. Baby Arsenal fi Woolwich I was South London. Na emrebi ka Arsenal ye gunu na papa efan Sir Henry Norris. Abeji Boboko, Sir Henry Norris on na Fulham. Remember, I will have time to explain this. Papa no escapa on na Fulham yanedia. If you do remember, my baby history be a catcher say Chelsea so in commode ko bo Fulham. Since that time na Fulham is strong. Inti papa ne be so Arsenal mu no against all combining Arsenal and Fulham. And the clubs ni kwat CC mu. Unim clubs om ka so company. Chelsea, Tottenham. And our papa say okay, omonti ase dia. Wakonya asase e wo North London to oyi club ni dey fi South London. E dey akọ North baby at Chelsea. And the Tottenham we also so Chelsea Tottenham wrote selected to the Football Association say yenti ase na enti ase china because to Arsenal and free North London. And papa say oh skandidi mua they took Arsenal there. Inti Arsenal ankasa ni chief in North London. Ni chi Woolwich South London. But any day papa ni sika o e no de ni nemu abebie nti e ho no koto hybrid and no ma Sir Archibald. And again I'll have time to explain this. Ken Archibald no papa or that television is ken hwe ni pa onu na see Stamford Bridge papa yi onu na see Old Trafford onu na see Goodison Park onu na see Anfield Stadium sanke sia ni nyina we England ni nyina Sir Archibald we and see inti when Arsenal sikeni say Henry Beji club no the club no call from Woolwich to Highbury no so basic stadium no and man Archibald and Archibald see ya between 1913 to 2006 93 years you see it now say your season now it will be the 20th year Arsenal every Highbury eba say omo current stadium inti the picture and I said the jersey you are going to wear. If you're an Arsenal fan, first of all, Arsenal are taking you back to where they belong. I'm afraid the gun is because I want to tour any idea England for the no one move free too. Yes, almost so catch us says our season way and the last season the free hybrid. Into two things. First of all, Arsenal are taking you back to those hybrid days and they are taking you back to when Arsenal were created. Let us be okay. Ademola Lookman. Ni situation no omenye ni ye afa na afa Napoli hwe kwan am fa so treat Usman na hwe kwan a Ademola Lookman Atlanta for na so treat omo but you see ade na ye kase ye hwe kwan from the player side that will not be fair to Atlanta. Last year Ademola Lookman the 14th our Ballon d'Or show 14th. Now was Rochen Saka, was Rochen Kopama, was Rochen Nico Williams. Last year, African best Ademola Lookman. Ademola only 32 or 27 years. Inti a 27-year-old player, 14th on the Ballon d'Or, African best. Say Atlanta cassette, you have 50 million euros. Never far. Wakabone. with this current market? This is the first question I want to ask. Because at the end, we need to look at from both sides. We are all giving in favor of him, and maybe we might not be right. Say, with this current market here, say who go take obi a ton 95 million euros. Now Dimola Lukman African best. When you're 14th on the Ballon d'Or list, no, because for 50 million, I mean, come on. I think it is a fair market, and it is Are they in Inter Milan? If in fact, say Inter Milan ending the role Ademola be play part and the importance of Ademola Lookman. Why is it that they are refusing to add only 5 million to their initial bid of 45 million at the Intra? And I want to ask questions before we come to the whole issue itself. Because Inter Milan ending the role of Ademola Lookman. What the 5 million? I can 45 million you want. Can you bonio? Now, and they should not drag you out to the stand. They say, boy, no, at the transfer request to go. I am not too happy how this thing is dragging because last year, time a PAG for buy only 20 million buyer. Atlanta for some one, you know. Atlanta for say no budget 45 million as at last year. Now so budget 45 million last year. This year we 50 million. Why you born here now? I understand the arguments like, oh, the Italian clubs are not treating Africans right. Yes, sound common as a kakra. But choke, African best, 14th on the Ballon d'Or. Ademola Lookman, who is not 30 years, he's just 27 years in this current market. Ken, your boss are Obiantobo. Inter Milan should pay. No more respect to Atlanta for no. Now Ramos Soilon, Nkofue Kramutu ya say. And you're the same club.
Ramos Soilon.
Now Ahmad Traore Rekrana na or your small boy. I think they pay almost 40 million euros. Now will be Ademola o chipping no. I'm telling you, on one way chipping one to distance. Come on, now Ahmad Diallo crowd those days, you know, which almost 40 million. Ramos Hoylon over 60 million. Now we African best.
You can take 95
million euros. Oh, yeah, now you're African, but we're chipping who too much. Come on. What was it?
Or more master son of cry at Tom.
Yeah, need the high margin.
Could you say 60?
55. Okay, euros,
60. And Ademola Lookman 45. 50.
African best too.
African best.
And now Musa word move and review. I said
Biggie. Biggie Brian, the others the Diabano and some no 1 year one be called Kutiobi. And
na minim adekunti akwaku kana asema
because ansa mo hono mo nsama to bi mu a nyame no kwani na ha adwen
wona de no kai
yidi matoto
na Holland de yakra na season na yeto no wa she 9 goals
but so no Champions League she goals be brave
of course Champions League on na United top scorer
so
last season Europa on na I think second top scorer Europa in for Manchester United
for Europe. European countries
domestic trophies no
they say I'm qualified for Europe no better
and Holland can maybe say domestic competitions no and then I the body qualify for Europe it is a one team anya fie ni ya e den wa qualify for Europe akwa kire de obetimi aye no
afi do benya goals and also mo create chances pa
kenam and no mean opportunity for Manchester United game ni bi and for whoever that feels say Manchester United team na year complete no onya abotre. Let's be honest. Manchester United born or more born, and yet that bad. But all the not the company so far per matches I'm a Premier League summer series in the yesterday's game and an Manchester United worst performance. Not necessarily because of more draw derby. But when you draw on the free man, the performance of the players on the day. Then your performance I'll be to me a young crunch at the film. Aside there no, I've said before say Manchester United Bobo no Ken. I had to say they were talk dada. Time will be a 4 to 4 you know. And then there was another 4 in the Manchester United team. You say the goalkeeping department their problem was. And now I tell by and there Ebabeda goal posting for Manchester United. How Manchester United considered the first goal. Goalkeeper yabo ball. Now we save the ball or punch ball on the two honum. And conquer to Everton player and him. No one's a man on the ball.
I don't know Manuel Gatti one can was.
And until I make us say
I know the ball.
Maybe ball and make us a problem for you know I was coming to talk about the midfield. Sana me chance ye free de wo ho dada no eno afọ Ugarte de ken se obi ni Ugarte ena eno an ohwe na menye sure so bebo Ugarte din papada. He was the worst player in the Manchester United team. Eno amfinfin honom eri ogbuna mo kwan omo fa so handle no amfinfin ball no ontimi nkita ball ni ye the distribution was poor. Obi bre no oje no de man nso so ano akwa say ball no enti ni tokuro ena na edam finfin honom. Clearly Manchester United needs somebody, and it looks like say the problem for Manchester United Ken or supporter limited expectations. At least team no is playing well. There are certain players are almost glimpses of good football. Ohe players ni bi won ma timi nyam kranhye wom and na go na me cinema to share no e go na akono e go ya Manchester United supporter obe bom paye say obetimi ahu me cinema to get it back to the best of form. Coach then also try so boy Mbuemo as a force number 9 man who Mbuemo ye in that position. Ken, oh no, I'm not saying he's a bad player.
Mbuemo
and no baby a coach in the boy you know as a force number 9 no man who Mbuemo ye it was our position no mostly no person track it back no babenya boss ni bin so ye de ben ebo. But all in all I think say it was a good exercise for Manchester United. Ken, Barcelona is having a very good exercise in Asia. Yes. Barca supporters need be real problems because they don't feel say I was saying Barcelona high profile games are not the games are so. But in pre-season kakra me minimum of football and say when you have a lot of players coming in and only a number 1 and a number 2 who need the core of your team and also with team now performing in the past season over person obenya high profile games. Now the access to team very well. No I share ball at team neighbor say because season now baba be remno. Ube share teams omo ya strong, teams omo wording, teams omo ya stubborn, omo ni betimi ya how. It ube here high profile games. Now they assess the team very well. Now you coach our who they obey. But the Barcelona team we are talking about, a Barcelona team wa. Players bebre amabo bokunim. That is number 1. Number 2, players don't want about Barcelona bobo kunim so omo man me status, omo baba be backups. Enti Barca woni team wo hono mo dada. So it is just like say o pe bibi dey hit up no dey akwa ko season nimu. Ope games bi keke na the new ones are almost bad team no and the academy players no wa mo opportunity no mo nso abokaka na wiase ni nipa nso hu do mo nso betimi aye for boboku no aside eno the previous season Barcelona performed poor. The performance was good. Barcelona won the Spanish La Liga. It's the coach ni kitani team that a team that is performing. It will have few exercises just to warm the players up into the new season. And for me, I believe that the kind of exercise that Barcelona and Asia no are good for the team. Gerard Martin, so a Barcelona player. To say Gerard Martin, near more when you set in Barcelona, looking at certain players, I am a be a Cologne, and you be no one about a person or Tom one corner. Ken, I was always very careful. Now we improve your performance as a player. Last season, time I Barcelona being here Gerard Martin pa was time Alejandro Balde prior. But about the prior, the minimum you be dance here. Said the left back. I know moving here so be feeling into the shoes. No one bought to the standards and performance of Balde, na Barcelona nyabi. Not even 50% of the performance and about the dema and Gerard Martin Demaye. There were games he was good, especially Baba season no. But where Barcelona needed him most, he always fought to deceive. Against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League, mistakes leading to goals. Never play a friend said Gerard Martin. Barcelona, was against Inter Milan. Say you home, say you away against Inter or Champions League. Player a lot of mistakes. Emma Barcelona loses our game. No man to be on the final stage of the competition. Then you play a friend said Gerard Martin. And upon all these mistakes, Nampen for now beyond mistakes, I have certain qualities to be our possessing. No more another opportunity. Can say we a player, you don't have to relent. I was making sure so working extra hard because I need to be an Albanian say. A bit more performance in the training, but yes, your monko. Some are even proven. Obitisaro or proving who Barcelona. A injury no nyaye and a poor run of form and a buy. Or numponam 24% quoko. Now we are improving point to be improving Barcelona. It's a very good opportunity now when you keep faith in him. Or should make sure so be repay that kind of trust and faith with good performance. Ken, there is one player at Arsenal. A hammer at the map player in this situation, but such is life and football. Player make no want some Gabriel Jesus. It has gotten to that point. A highly possible say was a player and if we Arsenal ball moving from Manchester City, an experienced player, and our Premier League, Arsenal wanted to build something new with players or more experienced, any younger players, because some people competing for the title. And almost shots yes, or more fat players or more side experience, it will league him to Omaba. And a Gabriel Jesus, and so be P. Arsenal Bobo Kodimo. The first season for Arsenal, Obayana, Obaba Levin goes, will league him to assist 6 times. That is last 3 seasons. From there, player in a player, why are consistent with games? Because injuries, hano. Obe pra. No, I fit, no, Boba Kumunu, no, science were pra. And January, and Onya ACL in an FA Cup game against Manchester United. And there are other players, almost Bababi Remoa. I'm about with high expectations. Arsenal the Jokeres aba. Jokeres in one of my Kai Havertz on 1 ton. Even then, Mikael Merino Crampo yet me pushing him on number 9. And my man numbers the mass now. And last season was clear none of the numbers any good. But for a player like Gabriel Jesus, at the point, one of the best players in the English Premier League, a top-notch striker in the Manchester City team, today also finding a way out because we're falling down the pecking order. It is hurting, it is disheartening just because of injuries. Because Abranti and clearly can one chred that say only quality no nimbo, but the plan abana sign to a player now sits now boboa. Unia be boboa, don't be boboa. I dear about call bit me a dear tiny cheaper. And it's all about bumpire dear tiny chi. Nobody injury free because there are certain injuries about players abrabumwa. And then the performance, any career, any progress can.
Me that say, Biggie.